The smell of floor polish and fresh coffee mixed in the lobby of Crestview National Bank, a glass palace where fortunes were stored and ordinary people were forgotten. Every morning before the doors opened, Tom Harris was already there, mop in hand, humming old Johnny Cash tunes as he scrubbed the marble floors until they shone like mirrors. At 52, Tom had seen better days. His hands were calloused, his back ached, and his uniform carried the faint smell of bleach that never washed out. But he didn't complain, not once. He worked for one reason only. His daughter, Lily, a bright 17-year-old with dreams bigger than their tiny one-bedroom apartment in South Boston. "Morning, Tom," called the security guard, Rick, as he sipped his coffee. "You ever stop smiling?" Tom chuckled. "If I stop, the floors won't shine, and you'll slip." "Can't let that happen now, can I?" Rick laughed. "You're something else, man." By 9 a.m., the doors opened, and the morning rush began, business suits, perfume, and impatience flooding in. Tom moved quietly in the background, his mop gliding like a shadow. To most of them, he was invisible, the kind of man you pass without a glance. But that morning, something, or rather, someone, broke the routine. A black limousine pulled up in front of the bank. It was sleek, tinted, and gleamed like obsidian. The manager, Mr. Wallace, nearly spilled his espresso. "Everyone, listen up," he barked. "We have a VIP client visiting today, a high-net-worth individual. Let's look professional, and someone tell the janitor to stay out of sight." Tom froze for a second, then kept mopping. He'd learned long ago that pride doesn't feed a family. At 10:05, the limo door opened. A young woman stepped out. No older than 21, dressed simply in jeans, a white shirt, and a gray hoodie. Her dark hair was tied back in a messy bun, and there wasn't a single diamond or designer logo on her. She looked lost, shy even. "That can't be the client," muttered one teller. "She looks like she walked out of a community college." The girl entered quietly, clutching a folder close to her chest. She didn't speak. She didn't even look up. Instead, she walked to the receptionist and handed her a folded note. The receptionist unfolded it, frowning. "Greater than, good morning. I would like to open a private trust account. My name is Claire." Mr. Wallace, always eager to impress rich clients, rushed over, but when he realized the girl wasn't speaking, his enthusiasm soured. He cleared his throat. "Miss, do you have an appointment?" Claire nodded and typed something quickly on her phone, then showed him the screen. "Greater than, no, I was told walk-ins are welcome." Wallace gave a strained smile. "Yes, but this isn't a regular checking account. These are exclusive services. You'll need documentation, income statements, asset verification, proof of." Before she could respond, a teller whispered, "Maybe she can't talk." Claire nodded politely, confirming it. Wallace sighed dramatically. "Oh, a mute client. Wonderful. That'll make things 10 times slower." A few customers looked over. Some frowned in sympathy, others stared, but no one spoke up. Tom, still mopping near the entrance, saw the look on the young woman's face, embarrassment mixed with quiet pain. Her hands trembled as she pulled an envelope from her bag and handed it to the manager. Inside were official-looking papers, property deeds, financial certificates, and a sealed document marked with an embossed gold crest. But Wallace didn't even glance at them properly. "Where did you get these?" he asked suspiciously. "You know, we've seen fake papers before. Some people try to scam their way in." The girl's eyes widened in shock. She shook her head quickly, typing. "Greater than, they're real. Please, just verify them." Wallace snorted. "Sure, let me just drop everything for you." His tone dripped sarcasm. "Listen, sweetheart, this is a serious establishment. You can't just walk in with a hoodie and expect VIP treatment. Why don't you go to a local branch where they handle simpler clients?" Tom's hands tightened on the mop handle. He'd heard condescension before, but something about this felt worse. The way everyone stood there, pretending not to notice. The way this girl bit her lip, fighting back tears she didn't want to show. Finally, he couldn't hold it anymore. "Sir," Tom said calmly, "that's not how you talk to people." Wallace turned, eyes narrowing. "Excuse me, I said," Tom repeated, setting his mop aside, "you shouldn't talk to her like that. She's a customer. She's got papers. Maybe you should take a look before judging her. The room went still. The tellers froze. Rick, the security guard, winced. Wallace's voice rose. You're a janitor, Harris. Stay out of this. You clean floors, not manage clients. Tom stood his ground. Yeah, I clean floors. But I also know respect doesn't cost a dime. Gasps rippled through the lobby. Wallace's face turned red. You're fired. Tom smiled sadly. If that's what it takes to treat people right, then fine. Claire watched the whole exchange silently. Her eyes, gray and soft, shimmered with something he couldn't name. Gratitude, maybe, or disbelief that anyone would stand up for her. Tom turned to her gently. Miss, you okay? She nodded and typed on her phone, showing him the message. Greater than, you didn't have to do that. But thank you, he smiled. Someone's gotta do the right thing. You take care of yourself, all right. Claire gave a tiny nod and typed again. Greater than, you're the first person who's ever defended me. He didn't know what to say. He just gave her a kind smile and said, then I'm glad I was here. As she left, Tom picked up his mop again, feeling oddly peaceful despite the chaos. Rick walked over, shaking his head. You're a good man, Tom. But Wallace will make sure you don't work here again. Tom chuckled softly. I'll find another floor to clean. But I couldn't just stand there, Rick. You saw her. She couldn't even speak, and he treated her like dirt. Outside, the black limo waited. Claire paused at the door and turned back for one last glance. Their eyes met through the glass. She smiled faintly and raised her phone, typing something he couldn't read before the car pulled away. Tom didn't know it then, but that small act of kindness, that single moment when a janitor defended a mute stranger, would soon rewrite his entire life. Because the quiet girl he stood up for wasn't just anyone. She was Claire Reynolds, heir to the Reynolds banking empire, one of the largest private financial networks in the United States. And tomorrow, the janitor's world would never be the same again. The morning after the confrontation, Crestview National Bank buzzed with gossip. The janitor who stood up to the manager had been fired, that much everyone knew. But no one could stop talking about the mysterious girl in the hoodie. Did you see her car? Whispered one teller. A black limo with no plates. That's not normal. Maybe she was rich, said another. Ha, if she was rich, she wouldn't look like that, someone else scoffed. Only one person stayed quiet. Rick, the security guard. He'd seen the look in her eyes. Quiet people, he thought, often had the loudest stories. Tom Harris. Meanwhile, Tom was back in his small apartment, patching a loose kitchen cabinet with duct tape. He'd told his daughter Lily he was taking a break from work, though she wasn't fooled. Dad, you got fired again, didn't you? She said gently. Tom smiled weakly. Yeah, honey, but I'll find something soon. Maybe that hotel downtown needs someone to mop the lobby. Lily sighed. You always help everyone else, Dad. Who's going to help you? He ruffled her hair. Don't you worry about me. You just focus on those college applications, okay? She smiled faintly, but her eyes said what she didn't. She wished the world saw her father the way she did, a man of quiet dignity, who did the right thing even when it cost him everything. That night, as he sat by the window sipping black coffee, his phone buzzed. An unknown number. He almost ignored it, but something made him pick up. Mr. Harris. A woman's voice spoke on the other end. This is Ms. Claire Reynolds' assistant. Ms. Reynolds would like to meet you tomorrow at the Crestview branch, 10 a.m. sharp. Tom blinked. The same bank that fired me. Yes, sir, she said. She specifically requested your presence. Transportation will be arranged. Tom hesitated. Is this some kind of joke? No, sir, the voice replied calmly. You'll understand tomorrow. The return. The next day, Crestview's usually calm lobby was a storm of anxiety. A convoy of sleek black SUVs pulled up, followed by a luxury sedan. From it stepped Claire Reynolds, now dressed sharply in a charcoal coat and diamond earrings, her poise unmistakable. As that, gasped one employee. Oh my God, that's her, the CEO's daughter. Mr. Wallace nearly dropped his tablet. He rushed to fix his tie, his heart pounding. Everyone, stand straight, he hissed. Do not say anything stupid. The bank president, Mr. Garrett, came running down from the top floor to greet her personally. Ms. Reynolds, what an honor. We weren't expecting you. Claire simply nodded, her expression calm. She pulled out her phone and began typing. The assistant beside her read aloud. Greater than, yesterday I visited this branch as a regular client to observe customer service anonymously. What I saw shocked me. Wallace's knees went weak. He stepped forward nervously. Ms. Reynolds, if I may explain. Her assistant continued reading. Greater than, a manager mocked me for being mute. He accused me of fraud. And when everyone watched in silence, a janitor defended me. Murmurs filled the room. Wallace's face turned as pale as the marble floor. Ms. Reynolds, I didn't know. You can't possibly mean. Claire lifted her hand, a simple gesture that silenced him instantly. She typed again. Greater than, where is Mr. Harris? At that exact moment, the doors opened. Tom entered, looking bewildered and slightly underdressed in his old gray jacket. His eyes darted around the room filled with polished executives. Rick, the security guard, gave him an encouraging nod. Tom spotted Claire and froze. You're the girl from yesterday, he said quietly. She smiled, a soft, knowing smile, and nodded. Wallace immediately turned defensive. Ms. Reynolds, with all due respect, he's just a janitor who... Before he could finish, the president cut him off. Wallace, not another word. Claire typed another message on her phone and handed it to her assistant to read aloud. Greater than, Mr. Harris, you showed courage when others showed cruelty. You treated me like a human being, not a problem to manage. That's the kind of person I want representing my family's company. Tom blinked. I don't understand. The assistant smiled. Ms. Reynolds would like to offer you a position at Reynolds Holdings, Client Relations Supervisor. You'd oversee service ethics and training. The room gasped. Tom's voice wavered. Ma'am, I'm not qualified for that kind of job. Claire shook her head gently and typed again. Greater than, you are qualified. You understand respect, patience, and kindness. That's what we need more than fancy degrees. Tears welled in his eyes. I was just trying to do what was right. Her lips curved into a faint smile. She typed again. Greater than, that's why I chose you. Then she turned toward the president and typed another message. Greater than, as for the branch leadership. She paused deliberately, locking eyes with Wallace. Greater than, replace the manager. Effective immediately. Wallace's jaw dropped. Ms. Reynolds, please. I've worked here 15 years. Her assistant handed him a sealed envelope. You'll receive your compensation package by the end of the day. The man's face crumpled. He tried to speak, but no one was listening anymore. A new chapter. Later that day, Tom sat in Claire's office, still in shock. It was a world away from the janitor's closet he used to call his space. Floor-to-ceiling windows, polished oak, a view of the city skyline. Claire typed and showed him her phone. Greater than, you remind me of my father. Tom tilted his head. Your father. She nodded. Greater than, he built this company from nothing. Started as a cleaner in a small bank in Ohio. He said, never forget the people who clean the floors, they see more truth than anyone in suits. Tom smiled, eyes soft. He sounds like a good man. She typed. Greater than, he was. And so are you. For a moment, they just sat in silence, a mutual understanding between two people from different worlds who somehow spoke the same language of kindness. Then Claire handed him an envelope. Inside was a new employee ID badge, Thomas Harris, Client Relations Supervisor, Reynolds Holdings, and a scholarship certificate for Lily Harris, full tuition to any college of her choice. Tom looked up, speechless. You didn't have to. She interrupted by typing. Greater than, you gave me dignity when I had none. This is my thank you. He covered his face, trying to hide the tears. You just changed our lives, Miss Reynolds. Claire smiled and typed one last message. Greater than, no, Mr. Harris. You changed mine first. Epilogue. Months later, Tom walked through that same bank, no longer with a mop, but with a clipboard and confident stride. Employees greeted him respectfully, knowing the story of the janitor who stood up to power. And every Friday morning, a sleek car would pull up, and Claire would visit the branch quietly. She'd check the staff, smile at clients, and exchange notes with Tom. He'd always say the same thing. "Good to see you again, Miss Claire." "Still making the world kinder." She'd smile and type her gentle reply.